Birth, birth. Page number 69. Page number 69. There we have seen, as by a miracle, the pygmy chest, which his hands enclosed, gave a short, convulsive heave. Another coming up and down, breathing, and another. Andrew turned giddy, the sense of life springing beneath his fingers. Beneath his fingers. Why beneath? He was pressing, he was crushing. So the chest was under his palm. After all, that unavailing striving was so exquisite, pleasing, it almost made him faint. He redoubled his efforts feverishly. He increased because he got enthusiasm, because the child was half dead. It was flaccid. There was no movement. So that child is now started breathing, breathing. So that gave some enthusiasm, that gave some vigor into his mind. So he became very active, double active. He redoubled his efforts, bubble of efforts feverishly. The child was gasping now, deeper and deeper. The child began to breathe, breathe. A bubble of mucus came from one tiny nostril, underline. A bubble of mucus came out. That means the child's internal pipes were blocked with the mucus, and the child could not breathe. When the child became very energetic, it has got some body energy, it began to breathe fast. So what happened? All the blocks came out, this mucus came out. A joyful, iridescent bubble. There we reached. Iridescent bubble. Because that bubble itself is not good, isn't it? The bubble that comes from our nostrils, we do not like it. In your childhood, you might have eaten it with your tongue, isn't it? When you are a baby, Achut, when you are a baby, you might have extended your tongue towards your nostrils. But now, Gauri, so it is the life of baby. That is the enjoyment of baby. In Malayalam, there is a saying, Pillaki talleda chautu is a medicine. Even the mother keeps her feet on the body of the small baby, baby will not die. Baby will not die. The same way, the baby does. Sometimes the baby falls down by itself. That will not harm it. So these are the experiences of little baby. And when we are grown up, when we turn back to our babyhood, childhood, we feel something, I would say the word nasty. We don't like it. We smell it bad. We smell it bad. So we have to see what all things we have done when we were a baby. That is a part of life. It is said that your childhood was the best time of your growth. no tensions. You are enjoying fully. Am I right? Now you are under tension, a lot of stress. If the mark is less, tension. If mark is more, tension. Everything is tension. When you study, you have tension. What job I will get it? Will I get a seat? Eh? Will I get a government seat? Will I get IIT? Will I get a NIT? Will I get a NEET? Will I get a government medical seat? Tension. When you are a baby, when you are a child, nothing is there. So what I told is that iridescent bubble, from there we went. So the mucus was not a happy thing, but here the mucus is defined as iridescent, a thing that gives you joy. Clear now? A thing that gives you joy, that is iridescent. Here I told you, you have to go back to page number 1. Did I tell? And I told I stop the class and find out the answer for that, and find out the answer. Nobody thought about it. That is close that by that period. Anyone has thought of it? Did you get anyone get that answer? Did you
He
get?
had no premonition that this night call would prove unusual.
Tell me who is?
He had no premonition that this night call would prove unusual.
Ah, yes. He had no, that second main paragraph. Very good. Punya. He had no premonition that this night call would prove unusual. You see, that is the answer. Because this iridescent bubble changed his life. Changed his life. That night made a new future to his career. The whole village came to know that Dr. Andrew, famous for bringing back life. If you are in danger of your life, take him to Dr. Andrews. He began to become one of the famous doctors, well-known doctors. That was the premonition that was going to happen in his life. That is why the mucus is defined as iridescent mucus. Aditya understood. That is why it is called iridescent mucus. The limbs were no longer boneless. Underline. The body was flaccid, falling down. Hands, neck, head, everything was falling down. Now it becomes healthy, stiff. The bones are standing straight, no longer boneless. The head no longer lay back spinelessly, without spine. It was falling down there in the back. Now it is straight. The child began to raise its head. Now the head is straight on its spine, vertebra. The blanched skin, the pale skin, the white skin was slowly turning pink. They could see the movement of blood in the body. Then exquisitely came the child's cry. The child began to cry. That gave more happiness to the people. That is the rebirth of the baby with the hands of Dr. Andrew. Dear Father in heaven, the nurse sobbed hysterically. Here, hysterically means with great wonder. Wonder. She could not believe. The child began to cry. The lady cried aloud, "Oh my God, it is come. It has come alive. The baby has come to life. It has come alive." Andrew handed her the child because Andrew kept his collar straight, isn't it? Ah, yes, this is Andrew's. Take your child. He handed over the child. He felt weak and dazed. He felt tired. About him, the room lay in a shuddering litter. About him, around him, the room was in a shuddering litter. Everything was in a chaos. Blankets, towels, basins, soiled instruments, the hypodermic syringe impaled by its point in the linoleum. Linoleum is a um, floor mat. It's a kind of floor mat. Floor mat. The ewer knocked over. Ewer means we have seen jug, mug or jug. The kettle on its side in a puddle of water. You see, everything was thrown out there. It is a mess. The whole room was in a mess. The whole room was a chaos. Everything was scattered here and there, and they were standing in the midst. Paper was there, wet paper was there, syringe was there, the needle was folded and kept it there, the jug was there, clothes were there, everything were there, kettle was there, because all were worried about the death. Now everything is there, but it is iridescent moment. Upon the huddled bed, the mother still dreamed her way quietly through the anesthetic. So the lady was under the anesthetic. She was not fully conscious. The old woman still stood against the wall, but her hands were together. But she was in prayer. She was in prayer. Hands were together. She was in prayer. Her lips moved without sound. She joined her palms and her lips moved without sound. Can you remember any other picture? Hmm? Can you remember any other picture, figure?
Grandmother.
Grandmother.
Mother, the grandmother, the portrait of a lady. While she was there, she was using the rosary and her lips were moving. You see, we have this is what is called correlative study. When we read something, we our mind should relate something other that has already seen. Okay, so what happens? We will be able to bring back those wordings here. We will be able to join both the lessons together. In this way, our write-ups will be much more better. Okay, so her lips underline. The old woman, grandmother, still stood against the wall, maybe leaning on the wall. Her hands were together. Her lips moved without sound. She was praying. That sentence is irrelevant. Clear now? That sentence is irrelevant because the prior to that there were two sentences. With that sentences, the reader understands that she is praying. So what the writer will do after the sound, without sound, he will keep 2, 3 more dots. Then he will write, ah, see, she was praying. You see, now the difference you see? Understood? That is the usage. There is a need of which one? There is a need of what? The non-lexical filler. Ah, you see, I will read it. The old woman still stood against the wall, but her hands were together. Her lips moved without sound. Ah, she was free. You see, she was free. This is literature. This is literature. Mechanically, Andrew wrung out his sleeve, pulled on his jacket. So he wrung out the sleeves, kept his opened the sleeves, and pulled on his jacket. He wore the jacket. And he said, I will fetch my bag later, nurse. Let my bag be here. I will take it later. Let me go now. He went downstairs through the kitchen into the scullery. Scullery is washroom. Into the washroom. Scullery is a washroom. His lips were dry. At the scullery, he took a long drink of water. He reached for his hat and coat. He came to take his hat and coat. Outside, he found Joe standing on the pavement with a tense, expectant face. So by this time, Joe was walking there with great expectations. All right, Joe, he said thickly, boldly, loudly. Both are all right. Doctor announced, Joe, they are all right. It was quite light, nearly 5 o'clock. A few miners were already in the streets. The first of the night shift moving out. As Andrew walked with them, spent and slow, his footfalls echoing with the others under the morning sky. He kept thinking blindly. So while he was returning to his home, he was thinking, oblivious to all other work he had done in Blaneley. I have done something, underline. I have done many things in Blaneley, but today I have done something. Oh God, I have done something real at last. With great success, with great satisfaction, I could complete a job. I could complete a work. I could do something. And I have done something that is the expression of a self-satisfaction. Yes, I have done. That shows his own satisfaction. This is the thing what we have to tell always after your studies, after your exams, after your classes, after all your works. You should say, yes, I have done it. When a wicket keeper catches, he says, I have done it. He holds his hands like this. He keeps his fist like this. When Ronaldo makes the goal, he will say, I have done it. When Messi does it, he says, I have done it. When Carl Lewis, the sprint man, does the 100 meters race, he says it, I have done. When Usain Bolt does it, he says, I have done it. That shows satisfaction. The lesson reminds you how many times you could say, this I have done my part well. If you do well in this way, you also will be another Dr. Andrew. The lesson teaches you. Okay, this is the lesson birth. So here we are coming to the last lesson of the, sorry, next we are going to see the point. Next page. Question I will send to you. Okay, question I will send to you. You see, all should write the question answers. That formats your write-up. That makes you the length of the write-up and the quality of write-ups. All should try it since it is not ongoing, classes are not there. I hope that you are doing it. Okay. Otherwise, next year we will be suffering. So here, the tale of Melon City, a funny poem, very good poem, simple poem, just to have a reading, just to have a reading. It is a kind of in the story of a ballad, like that a story, full story is told. It is not a ballad, but it is a long story, a long poem. From this, its name is Mappings. From the mappings, this part is taken. It is written by Indian poet Vikram Seth. It is written by an Indian poet, Vikram Seth. The tale of Melon City. Just we will have a reading, you will understand very clearly. Only wherever there is connotation is needed, that is only difference. Otherwise, denotation, it is very easy to understand. We will read it as a prose very clearly. In the city of which I speak, I sing, because it is a poem, so I sing, I speak, there was a just and placid king. There was a peaceful and calm king. Placid, peaceful and calm. Very good king. The king announced, the king proclaimed, the king ordered. An ark should be constructed. An ark should be constructed triumphantly, would span, would have the width, the major thoroughfare. So it should be, you see, this is so this is the thoroughfare. Thoroughfare means public roads. Public roads. So the span, the width of the arch should be equal to the width of the road, the arc. So fairly, triumphantly, the arc would span the major thoroughfare. Thoroughfare means public road. In many colonies, you may see it, it is not a thoroughfare. This is not Poduvali, thoroughfare, public road. For what purpose? To edify spectators there. Here, edify. Edify means construct, build up, to edify, edifice. The word edifice. Great building, huge building, edifice. Edify. Real meaning is to construct, to build. Here meaning is to build the personality. That means to teach, to instruct. To teach, to instruct. So the king wanted to teach the public, teach the people, for which he asked to build, to construct an ark. The workmen went, because it is an order of the king. The workmen went and built the thing, built the ark. They did so since he was the king. So the king ordered to build the ark. The laborers, workmen went and built the ark because he was the king. Once the king announced, there is no word against him. The king rode down the thoroughfare. So here the king came. The king came. Okay. The king came here. The king rode down, came the thoroughfare to edify spectators there. So when the king came to the ark, people came, and the king stopped there to edify them, to teach them. Under the ark, he lost his crown. So he was standing, and when he crossed the ark, what happened? His crown touched the ark and it fell down. The, the, um, the crown fell down. Under the ark, he lost his crown. The ark was built too low. Height of the ark was very low. A frown appeared upon his placid face. What is a frown? A strange look. Frown means a strange look, a staring look, an angry look. All the meaning according to situation. A strange look appeared upon his placid face. His face is calm. His face is peaceful. On that peaceful face, people could see an angry face. The king said, "This is a disgrace." Underline. King said, "This is a disgrace." If a disgrace is happened to the king, what happens? The one who gave the disgrace should be punished. That's the thing. If anybody gave disgrace to the majesty, to the king, that
Sir,
should be punished.
sir,
Yes.
I have a doubt.
Ah,
Sir, in the last chapter we saw like placid body,
ah,
and this chapter we are seeing placid face. So what
ah.
will be the
There it
difference?
is placid body. That placid body, the real body has activities. The real body has activities. Hands will move, eyes will look, all these things. Their placid body means it is just like deadly falling down, cool, silent, deadly. I have told that also. Deadly, cool, without any action. Here now, see, here, here placid means there is no that kind of emotions, but he is calm and quiet. He is calm and quiet. The king is calm and quiet. Very good. You have asked. This is what is called connotation. In literature, one word has different meanings. According to the situation, you have, I told, frown, strange. Frown means angry. Clear now? All these meanings are the according situation. Here we say strange look. Okay. Shall I proceed? Okay. Okay. So this is the disgrace. The king said, the chief of builders will be hanged. Because the chief of the builders, the contractors, should be hanged. Underline. The chief of builders will be hanged. Number one. Put number one. Rope and gallows were arranged to hang. As soon as the king announced, ropes and gallows, the materials for hanging, everything was arranged. And the chief of builders, the chief contractor, The chief contractor was let out. Now it is very currently, you can have an experiential learning. Can you relate this to any present situation? Can you experience this situation to a present situation? This is what is called experiential learning. We experience when we read. This is a poem written very many years ago. When we read this structure, we remember certain things that is happening now. The king ordered to build an ark. It was built. After the construction, the king came to see, and he saw it was not with the proper height. His crown hit on that and it fell down. Anyone? Can you think a current issue?
Palarivattam Bridge.
Film Panchavadi Palam. There is a Malayalam film Panchavadi Palam. Now there is Palarivattam Palam. Palarivattam flyover. The government gave the order to build a flyover. Clear now? It was built. Clear now? And it is found that not proper. Aishwarya, okay. Okay, now you can see the film Panchavadi Palam on Sunday. Okay, after the exams, you can watch Panchavadi Palam. So you will be able to know the story. It is just like this one. Okay. Okay, now. So this is what is called when we relate ourselves. Okay. So the chief of the builder's contract, chief contractor was brought, led out means brought. He passed the king. He gave a shout. So he came near the king. Then he made a shout. O king, it was the workman's fault. It is not my fault. It is the fault of the workmen, underline workmen. It was the fault of the workmen. Then why are you hanging me? I am not the culprit. I did not do anything. I got the contract. I asked the workers to do it. O king, it was the workmen's fault. Oh, said the king. Hearing that, king said, oh, and called a halt. Then he told, stop, stop, don't hang him. Wait, wait. Halt to the proceedings. He put a halt. He put a pause. He put a stop. Halt, stop, halt, pause. All are same thing, but it is the differentiation of the timing. Pause is a minute, just to have a pause. To the proceedings, being just and placider now. You see, Achut, placider comparative degree. He became more calm and quiet, reasonable, thinking, here meaning more just. Being more just, you see, meaning is changed. Here, placider means being more just. He said, I must have all the workmen hanged instead. I order, instead of the contractor, all the laborers, all the workmen should be hanged. The workmen looked surprised. They looked right and left. They looked right and left and said, O king, you do not realize the bricks were made of the wrong size. It is not our fault. The contractor told you have to keep the layer of 20 layers. We kept 20 layers. But the thing was, the bricks were very small, out of size. That is why. So the workmen threw the bowl into the bakers of bricks that we will see in the next class. I think it is time. Okay. Thank you very much. I end the class. We have one more period. We will finish. Okay. Thank you.